I would like to welcome everyone to TronLoop.io. My name is William, and I'm also known as Captain TL or Captain TronLoop. I sound like a superhero, but I'm not. I'm just a regular guy who came with my partner with a great idea, and now this idea is being transformed. And let's talk about TronLoop. TronLoop is a simple system where initially it was really made a system where we imagine a circular system where there's no top, there's no bottom, and we also had imagined it with no upline, with no downline, but I'll be more specific about that. But what we wanted was a system that includes everyone, regardless if you're a recruiter or not a recruiter, a system that really loops on itself, that turns on itself and enables us to come back, basically get a turn and receive, then go back in line to receive again and again, which is why this system will double, triple, quadruple, will multiply your Tron so many times that we can't really tell you how many times, because going forward, we think that we really hit, we struck a nerve. The response we got from the first time that we came out to last night, I think that we're really about to shoot. We're shooting for the stars. And here's what's happening. For those who know Tron Loop, the way it is, it's really a circular system where everyone gets a turn. It's called a loop, and you loop. We have 8 infinity loops. Let me go actually here, and they're measured in TRX, and we'll talk about TRX in a moment. But what I want to talk about is the update, the announcement I made last night. And if you were not there last night, the announcement doesn't change the DNA of Tron Loop, meaning that how the system loops on itself, where this is you get a first transfer, goes directly to your wallet. The second transfer brings you back in line to receive again, basically as a loop done through the smart contract automatically without you having to do anything. But what happened is that when we said that no recruiting, no sponsoring, no networking, and we left it to the community to grow the system, we have to be honest with each other. The community basically looked at each other. People joined, but they didn't join at the pace that we thought they were going to join, even though a lot of people gave us responses like, we have the system that everybody's looking for, and we're changing the standards, and we're glad of all those positive response, but action speaks louder than words. So after a week or two, we looked at the situation, and a few people, key people, I would say, reached out to us and said, if you guys would truly incentivize at least the networkers or the marketers or the sponsors, they would definitely be able to grow the system, and plus still accommodate those who cannot, quote unquote, recruit or sponsor, or even if their life depended on it. So last night we announced it to the community. It's a decision that the community actually accepted, and the decision is very simple. We're keeping the DNA of Tron Loop, where everybody will loop. When you join Tron Loop, you are set. You take a position, and when it's your turn, you will loop. And I'm also going to go a little bit more in detail regarding that aspect. But at the same time, we need to grow. And like I said it last night, and I'm saying it again, sometimes growing is painful. Not sometimes, I think many times growing is painful. The growth process in our lives, in our personal lives, and in general, it's painful sometimes, but we have to grow. And why I say painful, I don't think it's that painful, because so what we decided is that we decided to incorporate the referral aspect to help those who can help us grow, to give them an incentive. And it's simple. Last night, I also made a mistake in saying that the incentive would be reoccurring, or recurring, like repeating itself. But upon looking at the math, it's not possible. But yet, it's still powerful. And what is it? We call it a fast start bonus. We might have a different term for that, but right now we'll call it a fast start bonus, which means that I'll take, for example, the 1000 TRX level. And I think that level is easy to explain. When you join going forward, once we deploy the new contract, and it's not going to be today or tomorrow, it'll take us a few days, could take us maybe a week. I don't think it's going to take us that long. I don't have the exact timeline. Probably by tomorrow, I'll be able to give you an exact ETA. But what's going to happen going forward? We need to grow, and we need to incentivize those that can help us grow. And I know the last few days, last week, when you heard me do the webinars, I kept on saying that we believe that we have something that all the networkers, all the marketers, all the sponsors who brought people in different, quote unquote, programs, businesses, whatever you can call them, smart contracts, based on traditional matrices or lineage that we felt like if, by bringing people in TronLoop, they would guarantee the success of their people because when they loop, they would go behind the line and help their people. But I understood that, especially yesterday, that words are not enough. We actually need to incentivize people to actually do that, to help us do that. So, reluctantly initially, and now I think I'm at peace and I'm happy with making that decision. We decided to actually bring a one-time quote unquote referral called fast start bonus. And how it works, we didn't want to make it too low and too high. So we decided that 20% would make sense. And how does it work? Here, the 1000 TRX. Hear me out clearly, and this is being recorded. Let's say you invite me, whoever you are, you invite me to TronLoop when we deploy the new smart contract. And also the thing, before I talk about the fast start bonus, be reassured that if you are in TronLoop right now, or if you join TronLoop today before we deploy the next, our smart contract, what will happen is we're taking the present database at the moment that we say it's going offline. It may be for 24 hours or 48 hours, I'm not sure. But when we say it's going offline, we're going to take the present database at that moment and we're going to transfer it to the new contract, which means that you, me, and everyone in TronLoop will not have to reposition themselves or repay, which is great. So now let's talk about this fast start bonus. What's gonna happen? And again, this is optional. You don't have to sponsor in TronLoop, but we're bringing this option for those who can, with those who want to, and who want to be incentivized. So that 20% fast start bonus is very simple. You join in the 1000 TRX because there's no ascending order. You can actually start at the 1000. Now, when you join, what's going to happen is that immediately when you join, you will be invited by someone. Going forward, you cannot join without being invited by someone. But you don't have to invite anyone. But you will be invited by someone if you're not in TronLoop yet. And when when you are invited, the person who invites you out of that 1,000, 20% we know mathematically is 200 TRX. So 200 TRX in this example will go directly to your inviter. Let's not call that person a sponsor. Your inviter, who invites you to TronLoop. That person should be rewarded, and I accept that, and I understand that, and I actually believe that by doing that, it's actually going to be super powerful. So this is the example, and it's a one time. Why is it one time? Because in this example, 200 is going to the inviter, and 800 is bringing you in the loop. So even though it's a 1000 TRX, it's actually becoming an 800 TRX. And I'm not sure if we need to change the numbers to reflect that, or we need to keep it at that. Again, these are all formalities, but just work with me in a sense that, okay, 200 goes to your sponsor, 800 brings you in the loop, and the person who's receiving that 800 is receiving basically 80% as opposed to 100%. 80% of the 1,000 is going to the person who's going to receive it. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's still great. Now, here's what's going to happen. Why it cannot be reoccurring, and I do apologize yesterday if I got people super excited, thinking that it's going to happen over and over again. It can only happen one time, mathematically speaking. It cannot happen another way, because when, let's say me, who's invited, you're my inviter, you get your 20% on any of these loops, but I'm using the 1,000. That means that when I'm looping, when I receive now, what's going to happen, I'm going to have one person who's going to give me 800 TRX, and the second 800 TRX will be used for me to loop again. Meaning that every TRX coming in the loop in TronLoop will have a 20% paid to the inviter, because you will be invited by someone and that person will be rewarded. And here's what's amazing. If you are the inviter, think about it. Invite 5 people in the 1000 TRX as an example, and you're already even. You got your 1000 back without even you looping yet. And you're going to loop because the system will grow. We're going to loop. And when you loop, you come back to loop again. So this is how, again, this is not all set in stone, but I can say that majority of how it's going to work is, this is what I'm saying, that's how it's going to go forward. Same thing with the 8,000, same thing with the 16,000. Now, let me pull up a calculator. Just give me a moment. If you hear a background noise, I sincerely apologize. It's really warm right now over here. We're November the 10th, and honestly, in North America, it should not be warm the way it's warm right now. Wherever you are, I'm going to tell you, wherever you are right now for me, it's 21 degrees Celsius. Now, if you're not in a place that's Celsius, for you, it would be around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if you live, in the Caribbean or down south, that's probably not that warm for you, but it's still warm enough for us in November. So that's why I I should keep the windows open, but I had to close them because I don't want no background noise. Now, here's the reason why I came here: calculator online. I need a calculator online. I want to show you guys something, and it's very powerful. Calculator. Every time I type it, it's about to show up. Okay, here it is. Now, for those who know, and if you don't know, all eight infinity loops, they're measured in TRX. But if you want to know, 250 TRX is 624. But let's talk about all eight infinity loops together. 63,750 TRX, which is almost 1600. We're gonna round it to 1600. And I want you guys to understand how powerful TronLoop is, especially with when we deploy the new TronLoop. So 1600, you imagine looping 5 times, looping 5 times on all eight infinity loops. That's already 8,000. Now, if you loop 10 times, that's 16,000. But what I want to say is that imagine you invite, someone on all eight infinity loops and you get your 20%. That's no, sorry. 1600 times 20%. That gives you 320. And imagine you got 5 people that you shared or invited to TronLoop. There you got your 1600 back in a blink of an eye, and then you set to loop with everybody else, those you invited and those who's going to be invited, and so on and so on. So we had to make that change. I'm not going to lie, I fought the change. I did not want no sponsoring, no upline, no downline, but the nature of the game is we want everyone to be successful, even those who don't sponsor. And I think we have a good balance. And let's not forget, TronLoop is not network marketing, it's not affiliated marketing. It's really a concept more akin to something that's being practiced still in this time in places like Africa or the Caribbean. You can call it partnership, you can call it SUSU, whatever you call it. This is a version on steroid. It's powerful, it's a smart contract, it's on Tron, it's easy, it's accessible, it's affordable, and it's really powerful. And I think we found the right balance to have not only those who cannot, quote unquote, recruit or who don't want to recruit because they're just tired, but those also who can share this opportunity with as many people. And it's more than an opportunity, it's a community. And I think that we have, like I said, a perfect balance. And with me saying this, let me see. With me saying this, we're not much on the line, but whoever we are on the line, there's a few people I'd like them to give their opinion because they were not there last night. And so I'm going to start with Mike, and then I'm going to go with Ike, and then I'm going to go with Frank, and then I'm going to go with David Gantner. So this is the order. So folks, get ready. Guys, get ready. Let me start with Mark. Mark, I want to hear your opinion. Do you agree? Do you like the update that's going to happen with TronLoop? Let me unmute you. Go ahead, sir. You can unmute yourself, Mark. That's if you want. I'm always putting people on the spot. I really apologize. Okay, Mark, if you're not okay, I see you, Mark. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, Mark.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. And to me, is a great, a welcome development, because all we are trying to do in this community is to make sure we grow. And to grow, like you say, there is pain, and we have to agree with this. To me, I love it, and it's perfectly okay by me.
I'm glad
And
to
like I
hear that.
said before now, anything that will help this community to grow, I'm ready to do it. Because to me, is the best smart contract I've seen since I've started on a smart contract. And thank you so much for being flexible to agree with other leaders on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
That's all I can say for now.
I appreciate your support, Mark. I really do. I really appreciate your support. Let's go with Ike. Ike, if you're ready, let me unmute you. You can unmute yourself, Ike. Go ahead.
Oh, hi, Will. Thanks for doing that. Yeah, I totally agree with everything that was said and what you've mentioned. The key has to be to grow the community, and by the extra incentive that you've got in there with getting leaders to obviously recommend and refer, but with a payment, that will certainly help the community to grow. One thing I noticed from the initial launch was the caliber of leaders that are involved in this program and the talent of the kind of leaders that we have. So if there's an extra incentive for them and for people like myself as well to help grow the community, then that certainly helps. So yeah, I think it's a very good initiative and one that will certainly help to grow the community.
Thank you, Ike. I really appreciate your support, and thank you for agreeing with our decision. I fought it, but here, now I'm loving it all of a sudden. So thank you, Ike. So let me move on to Frank Green. Frank, you can unmute yourself, sir.
Yes, I was on the call last night. I got real excited when you said that. I said, I was thinking to myself, I don't think that's going to work, but man, any way possible to bring more people on to the our promised land, I think it's going to help. Any way you look at it, if you even just getting a little bit extra, I mean, everybody is one step ahead of the game. And that way it's going to bring more people into the community. We helping each other. That's why you got this program started, because you really want to help people. And I see that as well. And from that on, I mean, I was making my list last night. I wrote down or jotted down at least 50 people that I'm going to talk to and bring them people in. So that's going to give me a little incentive to go ahead and do what needs to be done. So I applaud you again, man. You just keep up the good work. We got your back.
Thanks, man. Franks, thanks, man. We are a community, and just know this. I'm not your leader. Yes, we started the smart contract, but I'm looping like anybody else. There's no top, there's no bottom. Yes, there will be sponsoring now just so we can grow the community because we need help. We did get the attention of some great leaders, what I call them heavy hitters, and we cannot disrespect them. I cannot force them to change who they are. They've been successful at what they're doing, and they're willing to help us grow TronLoop. We just have to give them an incentive, and I think that one-time fast start bonus is. And I didn't want to make it too complicated either. Yes, we could have literally changed everything and turned it into an official compensation plan, but I wanted to keep the simplicity of it. And I thought the one time, and also mathematically speaking, like I said, the one-time fast start bonus can only happen once, not twice, not 3 times. That would have been amazing if it happened all the time, but it's a multiple of 2, not a multiple of 3, so that cannot really happen. But again, not everything is set in stone, so we reserved, quote unquote, the right to just make maybe a last minute adjustment, and you'll be informed if that's the case. But right now, I think what I'm saying is how we're going to go with. And now let me move on to David Gantner. David, you can unmute yourself, sir.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
How are you doing? Yeah, so there's the way to look at it is in 2 guys. Everybody that's been in already, there's no 20%, no extra that you're missing out on. It's now 80%. Everyone's going to get 100% of 80%, 100% of 80%. And the 20% is really just like advertising. What if we had to pay to advertise, right? So no one's missing out on anything. They're still getting 100% of the 80% going forward. 20% is paid up front to somebody for advertising, which who in the world, what company would not want performance-based advertising? That's basically what it is, performance-based advertising. You get the lead. No, wait, you don't get the lead. You get the sale, and then you pay, right? That's the best kind of advertising there is out there. You can go out there and spend millions of dollars on advertising. Nobody's going to guarantee advertising. This is guaranteed advertisement. So that's the best way to look at it. And again, there's no extra 20% for any pools or any of that stuff. And I'm glad you guys noticed that and recognized it, because once you start doing the math, guess what? if you keep giving 20%, guess what? The lion's share that's there, or the 80% that's there, turns into 60, whatever, it keeps going down. And but 20% up front for bringing someone to something, that's huge, and it's going to show with the numbers. I know it will. And again, guys, just keep it in mind. You're paying for targeted, guaranteed advertising. You can sit back and relax and enjoy the ride.
Oh, David, that was powerful, man. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. It's people like David and people like Frank, people like Ike, people like Mark, people like Max, and even, people like I see on the line, Danka, Bella, Leonard, Lewis, Maxwell, whoever's on the phone, Samson and Teresa and Zorani and more people, because I know, like right now, 1:00 Eastern time, for example, in North America, a lot of people are at work, so they cannot be on this webinar. And this webinar may not be necessarily for North Americans, more for people, for example, either in Europe and in Africa. And also if you are, for example, in India, the Middle East, I think it's a good time slot. So we're trying to accommodate everybody, but Mr. Gantner just said it, like it's guaranteed paid advertisement. And I didn't see it like that, because once we incentivize those who can help us grow, it's guaranteed growth because they're being incentivized off the bat. And yes, once I finished the webinar, I'm not a mathematician, but once I thought about it, I realized it could only be a one-time 20%, but yet you're getting 100% of that 80%. And David, again, thank you a lot for that specification. And this is being recorded, so it will benefit the whole community. And that's basically it. I mean, the rest of TronLoop is not changing. Actually, I think it's gonna blow up to degrees that we want to see it blow up. I think it's going to reach the numbers of quote unquote these other smart contracts who are not smart TronLoop, and we're not them. We actually came different. It's still circular. It's just that now, obviously, the website, we're going to make sure that we remove some of these words where there's no requirement per se, but you still, if you do help us grow, you will be rewarded with at least a one-time 20%. And again, we didn't want to make it too high, too low, but if you just do the math, I mean, I just did the math with 5 people. Imagine you invite 10 people, again, they all come at all 8 infinity loop, which is 1,600, and you're getting 20% off that, just for those who came. And then you invite, let's say, I don't know, 15 people out of that. Just the fast start is giving you already that, and you have not even looped yet. So I think we got a strong response in the pre-launch. And then yes, the last week or so was slow because we left it for the community, but sometimes you just got to take the community by hand and just drag people with us. And we have to drag the whole community. Recruiters are not, and non-recruiters, we're all being dragged together in a good way so that we can loop together. And I think we found the right balance. And I want to, send my shout out to those who encouraged us to do this. I'm not going to name names, but they know who they are. And I do apologize if I argued with you all, I made it, and I did have a vision, my initial vision, but it's not about me. It's about the community, and it's really about TronLoop. And just before I let people go, don't forget we have a huge Telegram group. Now this is the channel, but where's our group? Well, our group, which is really Max's group on our behalf. Now with the change, when we deploy the new smart contract, again, it could be in a few days, maximum a week or so. Tomorrow, I'll probably have more of a real timeline. But the amount of people we have in this group, now we can really tackle them, so to say, and really get at them and let them know that we have the best thing since sliced bread. So we already have, not only we're incentivizing leaders to help us, we already have, this could be considered as leads. Now, I didn't want TronLoop to be a competition of who's gonna sponsor who, but now really and truly it is first come, first serve. Whoever you get, that's who you get. Whoever want to go with you, that who goes with you. The bottom line is that regardless if you don't sponsor, you're still going to benefit. You're still going to benefit from the efforts of those who's going to sponsor, who's going to help us grow. And it's huge, it's major. And let's not forget, the cryptocurrency industry is huge also. There's over $440 billion invested. Bitcoin is king. Ethereum is next. Tether, XRP, our good friend Tron is right here. And Tron, it fluctuates up and down like the others, but not too much. Like the last 4 digits here are what I see mostly moving. you know, so it's been staying at 2 cents for quite some time now. And I think we got something really good. End time also, imagine if it goes to 20 cents, the $2. So we can hodl, if you understand what that term means, the hodl. You can basically keep your Tron and your Tron will gain value. You can look at the chart that's opening right now. I mean, this is a whole new world. I believe in cryptocurrency. I believe in decentralization. I believe in financial privacy, and I strongly believe in smart contract technology, because this is what's given us a certain kind of freedom in the midst of all these physical lockdown, when you cannot even see your family and friend. You've lost your livelihood. You don't even know where your next meal may be coming from, or your next, you know, like the next government check. Allow us to show you an alternative that we are upgrading, updating, and I'm really proud of what we've done so far, and I'm also ready of what we're about to do. So with that being said, those webinars will never last more than 20 to 30 minutes, and if you know, just stay put. As soon as I get an answer of, you know, I spoke with my developer and my partner this morning. We had a webinar. We spoke about this. Is for the webinar is for our developer to give us an outline of everything that's going to happen. When I say the outline of the work that will be done in terms of migration and the upgrade of the smart contract, which shouldn't be complicated. But what I love about our developer is that he's that type of man where everything has to be written down so that we can see the breakdown. So we didn't get an answer over the webinar as to when and as to how. All he said is that by the end of the day, he's going to give us an outline and also ask us some questions as to how we want to proceed. And once we have the outline, the breakdown, and we answer the questions, then we will have a timeline. And at that moment, I'll share with the community. So big things are happening, like the song I played in the beginning. Our bright days are ahead. And what can I say, folks? I mean, I'm proud, I'm humbled, and man, we're about to blow. We're about to really explode. And it's for the benefit of all of us, the TronLoop family. So with that being said, let me cue this video. Let me end this webinar. If you are in North America, enjoy the rest of your day. It's a beautiful day over here. Man, I think it's going to last just the next 2 days, and then we're going back to normal, which will be cold, not cold, but cold enough to make me want to move out, basically. And for those in Europe and Africa, enjoy the rest of your evening or the rest of your night. And for those who are wherever you are, you know what? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And it's me, William, aka Captain TL, Captain TronLoop. Again, like I say, I sound like a superhero, but I'm not. And shout out to my partner, Professor TRX, aka Charles Xavier. And on behalf of TronLoop, let us play our